Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're on season 5, episode number 35. Andy, tonight's the sports edition. We're going to talk sports, baseball, basketball, Olympics.
First of all, because we're true to our fans.
Yes.
Happy Canada Day to those in Canada.
Yeah, today's Canada Day. It's July 1st.
Don't want to forget our friends up in the Great White North.
And now, you know what that means, Andy? Locally, Minnesota Federal League, over 35 baseball, their rosters were locked effectively yesterday, June 30th. No more changes to adult men's baseball rosters for the Federal League. They will wind down. I think they've got one more month worth of games, and then they start the state. The amateur has a couple of weeks left, 2 or 3, maybe 2 weeks left of the conference games, and then they start the regions.
Yep.
And such. So baseball, getting into July, things are really moving. Baseball, Major League Baseball just passed the halfway point of their season. They're all into the mid-80s for games. 81's the halfway point. Even though the All-Star game is next week, there's still another week to go. And minor league baseball, they hit the halfway point, and they actually start over with the new win-loss record for the second half.
Yeah, they clean slate.
Clean slate, and pretty good idea. It's first half records. If you win it, there's an asterisk by your team name, and you will advance to the postseason. The other teams all start from scratch. They also keep a record of the total season if you want to see how your particular team is doing, but they just focus on the second half now, and then the winner of that will go to the postseason as well. Now, AAA this year, Andy, and we got a trivia question coming up. They're going to play the International League, a best of 3 to see who the true champion is, and the Pacific Coast League, best of 3 to see who the true champion is. And that's usually when they just end it like that. Now they're taking the team that wins that versus this one-game title. I call the AAA title game. They're going to do that this year.
Winner take all.
It's kind of a winner take all. I'm not sure who will follow that or not. It's a good idea. I like it. I don't see anything wrong with it, I guess. I don't know what the award will be or what kind of trophy or where they're going to play it, but they're going to do a winner take all. I got a trivia question. It relates to the WNBA.
Oh, I'm ready. You're in my wheelhouse.
You know, I was watching the game. They moved that, the Indiana Fever game to ESPN. Something you've always talked about.
Yes.
I know they have their schedules done 3 months in advance or 6 months in advance, whatever it is, but they switched and moved a game. I don't know what they took out of that slot. That's a 2 p.m. slot on a Sunday afternoon on ESPN. But they put in the Mercury
Cornhole Championship or something like that, probably.
Yes, they put in the game, and it was just the Caitlin Clark game versus Phoenix.
Brittany Griner
and Diana Taurasi. It's and it was sold out. Tons of fans. I'd like to know what the viewership was, but anyway, I learned during that game. How many times has a triple-double ever happened in the WNBA? A triple-double. Now, Angel Reese yesterday made news.
That's coming up later, yes.
Okay, you're going to cover that anyway with double-doubles.
Yep, 10 in a row.
The question for this is, how many in the history of the WNBA, how many players have ever had a triple-double? We'll get to the answer at the end of the show. Right. Let's move on with some sports.
Let's talk about the other elephant in the room. I'm a Mets fan. I can make fun of this.
Okay.
Bonilla Day. He gets his payment today is $1.19 million. But look at all these other players who are on deferred payments also. A lot worse than his 1.19. Garnett's still getting $5 million a year. Griffey Jr. 3.5. Manny 2. I also saw one today. Max Scherzer, pitcher for Texas, is getting paid by 3 different teams this year. He's still getting payments from Washington, payments from the Mets, and payments from the Rangers. It says Bonilla was one of the first to sign it. He signed it for so long. It's a 2035. But again, like I've said before, for the last 5 years of the show, I'll say it till 2035 when he's done. In today's game, $1.19 million is nothing. That's nothing in what salaries are today. So,
yep. But it's nice
he's
how
still getting paid from the Baltimore Orioles too.
Yes, it's still interesting how he's getting paid. I mentioned that to the wife today. Gets to go to the mailbox, and every July 1st sees a check for $1.19 million.
I'm pretty sure Bobby Bonilla's got automatic deposit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I just like the
He gets
thought
that
of
text message.
he's been retired for so long. The new amount has been deposited into your account.
Yes.
Your notification from Wells Fargo. But
Yes.
look at this, with Holiday, Ramirez, Ken Griffey Jr., Garnett. It's a good
hockey
way
player in the two student 1-5. So,
it's a good way to do it. It's probably their agent talking about this, but it also helps. I don't know if this was because it helps out on the luxury tax and helps defer that from a team perspective, but it's a great stat.
Well, wait till Tiny's numbers come up here pretty soon. Whatever.
Oh,
What evs as the case.
Yes.
All right. Sports stat of the week. 80s baseball sports stat of the week. In 1974, Nolan Ryan's fastball was clocked at 100.9 miles per hour. Using today's technology, that pitch was an estimated 108.5 miles an hour.
Now, this I find interesting. I believe it.
So I think back then they just used the regular old police gun for checking it.
But I still don't know what the difference would be. What technology would be different? Is it better? Obviously better technology. But
where would you find 8 more miles an hour?
Yeah,
I can see if we went from 100.9 to 102. Okay, a mile. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
8 miles. But it's Nolan Ryan, so
yeah,
go with it.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's still a good, and I believe it because when Nolan Ryan was throwing those pitches, no one had ever seen anything like it back then. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is 100 miles an hour." Now you see it all the time, and now you try to picture that as 108. It really is wild.
Fun fact of the day from JustCollect.com: Tom Seaver is the only pitcher to make his major league debut after 1920, the live ball era.
Okay.
To have 300 plus wins with a sub-3 ERA.
Wow.
Seaver had 311 wins and a 2.86 ERA.
For his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see many guys now in majors or minors, with an ERA of even less than 4. It's nice to get those in the threes, but to finish his career at 2.86, Bob Gibson was another good one.
And he got beat up at the end with not many innings and a couple runs, blows it up, but he had established so many innings it wasn't tacking on so fast.
Wasn't moving the needle, right, as they say.
Let's talk about some baseball standings here. Let's talk about our 2 favorite divisions here. Twins going in today are a game up in the wild card. They have that +1. So second place, +1. The Mets are 2 behind in the wild card. They lost their first series in a month. But
Grimace.
Being the Mets fan, I think I could say this. To quote a line from my favorite movie, Major League, they're still shitty.
Great. Good movie.
Every pitcher in the history to strike out 70 batters in their first 9 games in Major League Baseball career while not allowing more than a dozen runs. Paul Skenes, and that's it.
Just to
look at some of the rookie phenoms we've had in the past. Gooden, Schwarber, all the other guys, whatever. Syndergaard when he first came up. Just these studs when they came up. And Skenes, he could be the man, I think.
Boy, that is incredible.
To his girlfriend, that little gymnastics girlfriend he's got on Instagram too.
Yeah, they're the LSU couple.
Yes. Cool. Let's go back in history a little bit. Our Wayback Machine here. Mr. Peabody. Goose. Quote, "These nerds that are running the numbers in today's game have no idea or respect. Manfred starting at the top. He's a nerd too. And that's the bottom line, that there's no respect from those people that are running the game. They wouldn't know respect if it hit him in the face." And I think what he's getting at here, kind of like you and I have talked, all these made-up stat numbers they come up with. Just give me runs, hits, RBIs, and batting, and Ks in the box score. That's all I need. They got all these other stats and numbers they come up with. Bored with it.
Yeah, nothing really needs to be changed. I don't mind some of these stats that come in. I used to like the game-winning RBI. You've mentioned that in the
Yeah, I
past.
love that one. They
I
took
hear a
that
lot of this,
away.
the WAR. I see a lot of this. I think that the Twins management is one of those teams that really focus on these things and when to switch a pitcher, when to
Yeah.
bring in who to bat in the order versus lefties versus righties. It's a lot of analytics, and it's too much. I'm a
Well,
fan
Tony
of
La
having.
Russa was big at it too, because when he was with the Cardinals, he kind of did one thing. When McGuire was going for all the home runs and that, he moved McGuire up to third in that batting order to get more at bats, to get more chances. When it used to be your highest batting average guy hit second and third, not your power hitter. Your power hitter was
Yes.
fourth. So they started messing with all that. So, he can get more at bats if he's here and there. And
Yeah, it's
I want the
different
old, you
lineups.
got your fastest runner first, your best contact hitter second, average guys, best average third, 4 and 5 are your power hitters. 6 is another contact guy,
I love the locked in lineup. Every day it's the same. Unless there's a change or an injury, that
Yep.
batting order should basically be the same.
It's a
We see,
left-hander. We reinvent the wheel and have 3 new guys in the lineup.
yeah, they're still professional hitters. They may not be the best against a lefty or a righty, but they're going to put the ball in play. They're going to hit the ball. It's too hard coming in off the bench late in the game and,
Yep.
adjusting later.
Ron Washington, talk about old school guys. This one player, Zach Neto, wasn't doing so bad, so he was checking out his video after his last at bat. Good old school Ron Washington. He was looking at his iPad, and I said, "You ain't going to find an answer looking at that iPad." Basically meaning, if you're having trouble with your swing, get your butt out in the batting cage and swing. Watching a video isn't going to fix it. You got to do it. And I think this is where Ron Washington's that old school guy is having trouble with these kids coming up.
They're done. And you see that too in the dugout in the major league level. Right after a bat's done, they will be on there and be handed an iPad to see what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What was the deal?
Yep.
And that may be, in this case, I'm just guessing, it may be the hitting coach saying, work on this, make sure that's right. So he wanted the player wanted to see, did I mess something up? Did I do it?
Right.
And so the manager sees him on, I don't know. I'm a Ron Washington fan.
You can't show a pitcher in mid-game. You're releasing the ball wrong. He's got that muscle memory going. He's not going to change in mid-game.
Yeah,
Ron Washington reminds me a lot of Don Zimmer, where you play the game the way I played it my generation and you don't change it. That's where Zimmer at the end became just a good bench coach, not a manager, because he wouldn't accept change.
I got a note also for later. I just thought of something, but that's a good point. You've got the off season to work on something. You've got the off season to work on some new pitch you're going to try to throw, a new stance at the plate, a new swing, a new delivery. You have all the off season. When the season starts, you should be locked in. Yes, if you want to fine tune something, go ahead and do it, but
do it the next day in batting practice.
When the game's over, you can come in and work on those things. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Lost Orlando Cepeda this week. After we lost Willie Mays earlier, then Cepeda a few days later. So tough day for Giants, old school Giants fans. So for me personally, it's a little Christmas in July when I saw this.
Okay.
It happened a couple days ago, but I saw it on July 1st, so it's my Christmas in July. Sorry if I get a little misty.
Don't cry.
Both Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are on the DL. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, that I did. I saw that and
sorry. Promised I wouldn't cry. It's beautiful.
You like when those National League East players get injured and hurt.
Just the Phillies players. I can't stand the Phillies.
Oh, it's just the Phillies. Yes,
just the Phillies in general. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Might be my Christmas card this year. There it is, Andrew Reese, 10 consecutive double-doubles.
Yes.
Now, say what you will about that stat. You look back at Wilt Chamberlain with all of his. How many of her rebounds are her own missed shot? How many of her rebounds are off a missed free throw where she's right there anyway? I don't care. A rebound's a rebound. So, poo-poo on your numbers for that. And now, granted, with the exception of the game against Indiana, a lot of these were bareleys. 10 rebounds that game, 11, 10, 11 points, 10 points. So, I don't care if it's barely a double-double. Or like the game against Indiana where she had 25 and 16, where it was locked in. Double-double's a double-double. 10 in a row. Incredible. And I've said it before about Angel Reese. I love her game.
Yeah.
In between the lines, I love Angel Reese.
And
Off the
so
court, not so much.
now here's a concept on this. Keep in mind she's a rookie. We've never seen a longtime veteran put up 10 in a row. We've never seen a longtime player, multiple MVP player string together 10 in a row. Here you go.
Male or female?
The season is only half over, and she's got it in her rookie year. Usually you'll think the rookies will take some time to develop, become good. She rattled this thing off, and I don't care how close the numbers, a double-double is a hard thing to do in basketball.
Man or woman, 10 games in a row. Tip of the cap, TMM.
Wow.
Soapbox.
Okay.
I saw this stat. It showed the Angels coming back to beat the Tigers, and look at how all they're happy and giddy. Yep, that puts you at 36 and 46. You do not dance around celebrating like you just won the tournament because you're now 10 games under 500.
Now,
if I was the manager, no. You win the game, shake hands, get back in the clubhouse, you're 10 games below 500, and you beat a team you're 10 games below 500, and you beat another team 10 games below 500. I don't care who you beat. You're 10 games below 500 at 82 games played in the year. You won. Shake hands, get back in the dugout, have your orange wedge, change, and go home and come back tomorrow.
Now, this was a walk-off, I'm assuming.
I don't care. But probably, yeah. But again, you're 10 games below 500. Grab your orange wedge, grab your bag, go home, have mommy wash your uniform, come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I've seen, the Twins in particular, other teams as well, with the walk-off. No matter what the record is, they're dumping the Gatorade, the water, messing up the home plate, dumping all the bubble gum, and it's a big, that is something, yes, it's fun and exciting to do, but you've got to be a good team, or if you're a bad team, you must have had to have beaten a good team or something. What Andy's getting at here is both teams are 10 games under 500. There's no really reason to be celebrating at all. It's almost embarrassing.
Yeah. Soapbox number 2.
Okay.
Frank Thomas had this quote. I do feel overshadowed by the steroid era guys. They put up diminishing skill causing my contact or diminishing skill clause in my contract because of them, and it didn't seem fair to me. Steroid era guys made stats unattainable. Frank, for over half your career, you couldn't even play first base. So don't talk about guys ruining your career and your stats. If it wasn't for the DH position, you would never have played as long as you did and put up the numbers you did. So don't talk about his diminishing skill clause. You couldn't even play first base. So what little respect I had for you is gone because you're gone, done. No, you couldn't even play defense at first base. A guy who is big as you. I looked up a brick shit house in the dictionary. There was a picture of you. Okay, you're a big man. You could have played first. No, you couldn't. Stone glove.
So the clause, and so I was not aware of this. They put this in a lot of people's, or was it everybody's contract?
Yes. If you weren't doing so well in the state, if you weren't top 5 guy anymore, it's so many guy anymore, you didn't get bonus. It's probably less bonuses, but
Interesting.
Yeah, he just kind of lost what little respect I had for him like that. And now, warning: you may learn facts here you didn't know. That's what we do on this show. We educate.
I like it.
Teams without a winner in these awards. Diamondbacks, Mets, and Devil Rays have never had an MVP. Cy Young has never been won by a Texas Ranger or a Colorado Rocky. A couple teams without Manager of the Year, the Brewers. And World Series MVP, of course, by teams who've never won, let alone been in a World Series. So it's kind of a tough one to swallow there. But no Met has ever been MVP. You figure the mid-'80s there, they might have maybe had a run. They were kind of good.
Strawberry Gooden.
Nope. Never had MVP. And the way they're going this year, pretty sure it's going to stay true to form. Now, I put this up for two reasons, and I want to explain something on this here. Pro teams with 0 championships. There's 32 teams in the NFL? Here's 12 of them without a title, and like 7 of those have been in the league for a while. They're not expansion teams. Vikings, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit. They've all been in the league for a while. They're not recent new expansion teams like Jacksonville. So that's just over half your teams in the NFL, the only ones that won titles. There's only 5 teams in baseball that haven't. Brewers and Padres were both late 60s, early 70s, so same with Seattle. Basketball is a dozen teams there, it's under a dozen, and same with hockey. Most of the new teams in hockey. Now, with the exception of baseball, you see Minnesota's represented in those 3 areas: football, basketball, and hockey. And I'm kind of taking a quick peek at a lot of these other parts of the same area. And it brings me to a signing I heard today in the NBA.
Okay.
Player went and signed to play with Dallas Mavericks. And a lot of these players at the end are going to Dallas. They're going to Florida to get contracts that aren't so big because of the taxes in that state. Their amount on their contract may be smaller than the other one, but after taxes, the take-home pay is be a lot more playing in Texas. Minnesota, being one of the top 5 states for taxes, funny, we don't get the big name players for football, basketball, and hockey. They won't play here because they're losing so much in taxes. Some of these other states are pretty heavy taxed states.
I wonder if there's a correlation between the ratio has ever been done for that to show the correlation.
That'd
be a good one.
Is there a way you can get around it? Because, you can't get around it. It is what it is. If I lived by a border or I had a chance to drive to Wisconsin every day and made more money, darn right I would if taxes were cheaper. Or South Dakota. My parent company is in South Dakota. I got South Dakota taxes taken or not taken out of my checks. I don't have them. I would move to South Dakota. But here you go. There's your reasons. Do your homework and see which one of these states are heavy tax states.
Yeah, I think it's. I would guess that the agents then, when they sign these players, or when they're going through a signing of going back and forth in a bidding war, they'll put the 3-ring binder to this schedule that shows, keep this in mind here, player. This is high. That's going to benefit, not going to benefit you, or the taxes here are really low. It's going to benefit you. Where do you want to go? Come into play. I've not thought of that, but you're right. I'm sure that goes into play with these big agents.
Because, when the Twins won it, there wasn't the big balloon salaries in baseball that there is now. But you look at football. The Vikings try to keep up, but they just can't get over that hump. Timberwolves are going to find out now. We had that little run with Garnett and with Sprewell, and that didn't last long. Hockey, we tried it with Parisi and Suter, but we got them too late in their careers. But we're just not going to get the big-name guys. Or we get them young and they become big, taxes here are going to push them out. 11 Minnesotans were selected in the NHL draft this last week, Dan.
Okay.
Here's a list of them. They're on social media. Now, granted, you'll see the team that drafted in the NHL, and their amateur team. A lot of them are going to minor league hockey or college, which is the way the NHL and baseball work. You don't get drafted and go straight to the pro team. I can count on my thumbs the times that's happened. Even Gretzky went through the minors. So, it's what you do. It's part of the deal. But 11 Minnesotans. And, you see the amateur team in the hometowns. Here's a kid from hometown, kid from Chaska Chan, 2 kids from the Chaska Chan area, 3 from Chaska Chan. John Whipple from Minnetonka. But those Chaska kids played at Minnetonka. So open enrollment moved a lot of that around too. But yeah, lots of movement there. But congratulations to these 11 young men taken an NHL draft from our fair state.
Yes, congrats.
Fun fact, Pavel is the 10th player in the 2001-2002 club of the Detroit Red Wings to be selected to the Hall of Fame. That means 10 guys off one team are in the Hall of Fame. I think that team was pretty good.
Oh, yes.
They may not like Brett Hull. He was there at the end of his career. His whole career wasn't Hall of Famer with Detroit, but still, you had a Hall of Fame player on your team at that time. Sergey, Dominator. So they had some great players there. Stevie Y, Chelios. University of North Carolina announces an outdoor game in Charlotte against Virginia Tech. College hockey getting big out there on the coast. I also saw one guy put up a thing today that since the Arizona team moved to Utah's another pro team, that the Colorado Avalanche and the Utah pro team need to have a game in Boulder, Colorado on the football field, the college stadium.
Okay.
Because with the mountains in the background, Whitecap Mountains, that'd be perfect for hockey.
I can see that. Yep. We've had you've covered in the past the Nebraska outdoor volleyball,
Yep.
the Iowa outdoor, was that basketball?
Women's basketball, yep.
So they're trying these, and I'll call them gimmicky. It's kind of what it is,
Yep.
a gimmicky thing to get people out there or to break a record or to do something like that. But it's interesting to watch. So now they're doing it again here this year, announcing it.
Last week we said Joey Chestnut could not compete in the hot dog eating contest because Joey's back in. He's back in. So let's with some contract things and this and that. He's there.
Put your money on Joey there at the Vegas odds.
Moonlight Graham.
Okay.
Movie fame. It was on the day June 29th, 1905. Archibald Moonlight Graham played one half of an inning for the New York Giants outfield in an eventual 11-1 Giants win over the Brooklyn Super Bros at Washington Park, Brooklyn. Graham did not record or put out or make an assist. He did not, in fact, even touch the ball. He did not make an at-bat. It was only appearance in the major leagues that were recording quite possibly the most infamous, inconsequential half inning in baseball history. Later immortalized in the W.P. Kinsella novel Shoeless Joe and its film adaptation, Field of Dreams.
Did not know that.
The character Moonlight Graham was a real character. That was a true story about him, how he never got in. I mean, he got in, but never got that bat. So,
zeros. The stat line is zeros all the way through.
Yep. Zeros. Didn't even get to touch the ball.
No chances in the outfield. No fielding chances.
Yep. Breaking news, the Boston Celtics are for sale. They just won the championship like last week. Now they're partially for sale. Now, did you take business classes, Dan?
Yes.
Don't you sell when things are hot? You're not going to get a better price right now for the defending world champions.
The blue chip.
Chip
stock.
You sell when the things are good, right? You won the championship. Now would be a good time to sell.
Now, my question here is, I thought that Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry, when they ran into disputes with the Timberwolves organization, at one point said, that's fine, we'll skip it. We'll go by. We're now interested in the Celtics. Was that true?
Could have been.
Have they been up for sale for a while? Yes, I do agree that now
the Celtics have been up for sale for about 12 hours.
Time to sell. Yes.
Smart man. Take that money and run. Denmark's men's Euro 2024 squad declined a pay raise to ensure equal pay for the women's team.
Okay.
A new 4-year agreement with the Danish Football Association grants equal pay for representing the country. The men's team reduced their insurance coverage by 15% to enhance women's coverage by 50% and the under 21 men's by over 40%. Now, do you see Americans being willing to take a pay cut to help the women out here? Or other countries?
No.
This would be a good story to follow, see who else follows suit.
Yes, I agree. They're the trailblazers here, doing the first time to do this. Now we'll see if other ones copy or mimic or do the same thing or not, or just say, no, we're good.
How many women are going to go try to move to Denmark, become citizens, and play for that team now because they know they can get equal pay?
It's interesting. Yes. Okay.
Another time in the Wayback Machine.
Way back.
Peabody and Sherman. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be Sherman when I grew up.
Okay.
I don't like dogs. That's why I didn't do it. July 1st, 1859 was the first college baseball game. I'm not going to get into it here. They go on to it. The scoring was way different. It's not the difference now. But today is the happy anniversary of the first college baseball game. You can read all about it on our social media pages on Facebook. Scoring was pretty different. Can you see this picture of this guy here at the end here, Dan, with the mutton chops?
Yes.
That man. I think it's going to be the no look I'm going to go for.
We need to investigate this gentleman. That is awesome. That's some.
He's got some chop.
Great flow, and almost like an alfalfa, the hair in the middle.
I think that's the guy's arm sleeve there.
Oh, got it.
Could be this picture. Right.
But the chops.
He looks like a tough SOB, though, right there. I'm kind of impressed. I thought the picture meant more than the story. I was going to put just a picture up. But
yeah, the picture is good. That's good stuff.
And I got one more thing.
Okay.
We said Canada Day today. Today is also the first day of the 137th Wimbledon Championships.
Yes.
Again today at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, where spectators will eat some 62,000 pounds of strawberries and 7,000 liters of cream over the course of the tournament.
Great stats.
Now, if you notice this here in London on the main court, because of issues they've had in the past, that is a retractable roof.
Okay, I did not know that.
So the main court, a few years ago, they made a retractable roof there. So yes.
And so there's the side. Of course, they've got the side tennis courts to play at, and all these matches are going on. But there is that featured one where the championship will be played, but not everyone will be so lucky. But yes, retractable. So now you can play outside, and if it's indoors, you don't have to reschedule.
Yep. Have to see if Chuck shows up, Chuck and his lady partner, or if Billy and Katie show up in the Royal Box, see who's all going to be there.
Yes, that'll be
Katie's health is good enough for it. We'll have to see.
Should be interesting. The thing I was going to bring up, Andy, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. In 2019, the Minnesota Twins made a first #1 draft pick. It was Keoni Cavaco. Keoni Cavaco. I think he's Hawaiian. They drafted him #1, 13th overall pick in 2019. So before COVID, they go through, do all their homework, get this shortstop, get him into play, get him into bat. A couple years later, things just don't pan out. The Twins released him.
Okay.
Didn't really pan out, right? Fair enough. Wasn't that good of a hitter. Wasn't that good of a fielder. I don't know. But guess who came in 2 days later and picked him up? The Houston Astros says, we'll sign him to our lowest class level. Under one condition, we're going to turn him into a pitcher. So I like this.
A lot of shortstops become pitchers.
He's obviously
got DeGrom was a shortstop. I think DeGrom used to be a shortstop.
Yes, and so shortstops are good for a multitude of things. You can kind of push and move them anywhere. My question is, #1, was Houston just that good, or did they have an eye on him before to say, you know what, let's get him over here and say, let's not worry about the batting. Let's not worry about the fielding. Spend some time developing as a pitcher, and for the rate we're paying him real cheap on a minor league salary, if it doesn't work, it's a low-risk situation. But if he does well, he could be a reliever, a starter, closer. Who knows? But let's give him another chance. So my question is, did the Twins then see this and say, oh boy, I guess we never thought of that? Or did they say, yeah, we talked about this discussions and he wasn't interested, or we didn't want to go down that path. But it's interesting when that happens. People are always scouring those waiver wires. There's a lot of, I would say, duds out there that hit the wire and no one wants to pick them up. But when you see former first-round draft pick, I'm sure there are some scouts out there to say, let's give this guy a chance. If he was #1 draft pick,
he's got to be a good athlete.
Got to be an athlete. He's got to be good, maybe just not in the right,
It's like you go from shortstop to left field. You go from shortstop to pitcher, which is different. I mean, shortstop and left field are different mechanics too. Don't get me wrong, but
yes, but you'll see that once in a while. But this was outright cut. They didn't try him at different positions. They just said, you know what, we're done. The experiment has ended. It's over. Houston says, you know what, we'll pick up this guy, and we'll use him, convert him as a pitcher only. So I like that outside the box thinking. Cavaco is obviously a talented athlete, just didn't fit the organization. Not the good shortstop, not a good hitter. Houston says, well, that's fine. We don't care. We don't want him to hit, and we don't want him to play the defense. How about he just focus on one thing and pitch? So he's another guy to keep an eye on, I think, is over the next couple of years to see, watch him be a World Series champion or something. But anyway, interesting move nonetheless. That's all I've got for sports. Now we've got a trivia question.
I got one more note on former Twins players I heard today, too.
Yes.
Did you hear about our boy Dallas Keuchel?
Yes.
Got traded for $1.
Yeah.
$1.
That was a meme. You know, he went to where? Milwaukee
or Seattle.
And so they got him and picked him up, but I don't know what else is going on behind the scenes there, but they wanted to pick him up and they just said, let's do it for $1 just to be done. And there's an old aging guy trying to make it. They weren't going to get money into the play. And so I did see that. They're very interesting stuff.
Okay. Trivia answer.
The trivia question is this. The WNBA has been around for a while. We've seen earlier, no one has ever done 10 straight double-doubles in the league. 10 straight. And it was done this week. Yesterday, Sunday.
Angel Reese.
By a rookie. Well,
against the Lynx. Yep.
That wouldn't have been making any news today, Andy, because there's not been one single triple-double in the WNBA ever. Now, Caitlin Clark was 1 rebound short of a triple-double. I was watching that game. She almost got that last rebound. That would have been all over the news today, and I'm sure it would have spurred more controversies and stuff because then Angel would have been dubbed with another record of her own, but not as
second fiddle. Yeah,
it would have been a second fiddle thing. But when I heard that it's never been done, you know, there's a lot of talented athletes in the WNBA. Just to get there, you gotta be good. But never a triple double in any game in the history of the WNBA. I found that to be odd. I guess
you figure first few years, Lisa Leslie or Brittany Griner, her first few years, someone would have got one. But
Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, you would think that along the way one would have snuck in there. You would think, but Kaylin, on the very game I'm watching, I don't watch much in WNBA, but the game I was watching, she almost did it and fell 1 rebound short of a triple double. Phenomenal once again, but
unreal.
Good stuff. Angel Reese did get it, and on the 10 consecutive, but that was the answer. 0. The answer is 0 triple doubles.
That's right. All right, that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
Nope, that's all. We got some good stuff coming up next week. We've got the 1 week from tonight, Andy, is the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. We don't kind of follow it on the show here. The All-Star Game, we kind of do, but both those things have been commercialized so much. They don't even wear their own uniforms anymore for the games. They've announced what the jerseys are going to look like. It's kind of flat. The whole event is kind of flat, but it is down in Texas this year at Globe Life Stadium. Home run hitting contest. I don't know if the rosters are out yet. Have you seen them?
I haven't seen. Well, they have it where they narrow it down, and yeah.
Sorry. That's the rosters for the game itself. Yes, they've narrowed it down. They do a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but the home run hitting contest, Minnesotans were really pushing to try to get Royce Lewis in because of his hot bat. And he said, look, I'd be interested in doing it if someone asks me. So far, no one's asked me to do it, so I'm not going to do it. But
I think there should be a stipulation on that. You had to have at least 2 guys in there that have like less than 5 home runs this year. Don't have it be all the power hitters. Have it be the,
would that be
Al
fun?
Newmans of the world in there, the Randy Bushes of the world in there.
And that's mainly drawn, the kids and the teenagers really go after that, and the pre-teens love that. And I think they want to see the power hitters to watch the power. I don't know if they'd be interested in that. I would be interested in seeing a non-home run because believe me, and maybe this is what you're getting at, Andy, these major league ball players, whether they hit home runs or not in the actual game, in BP, they're pounding them out of the park. Right. The light hitting second baseman's pushing them into the field, into the stands. The shortstop, these guys are punishing the ball in batting practice, but in the game, it's a different situation. But you're right. It would be surprising to see a guy with a couple home runs in there and probably light it up on the home run derby because they're all just coming in there easy. So That's a good point. All right, that's all I've got for this week. We've got a episode next week. We'll be back after the 4th of July holiday.
Be safe on the 4th. And if you do watch our 4th of July songs episode, yeah, we're recording that next. I'm going to wear the same thing for that too.
Yes. All right. Have a good week.
Yep.